Welcome to the Real Life Weight Loss Podcast, where we cut through the confusion and get down to the truth about what really works for real people when it comes to losing weight, having incredible health, and a body that you love. We believe that losing weight is really about gaining life, doing things you never thought you could, having renewed confidence, and enjoying your body more than ever. I'm your host, Corey Little. Now let's get to it. Well, all right. Welcome. So today in our very first episode, I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right to it, okay? I'm going to share the number one thing that you need to hear if you want to lose weight. But in order to do that, I've got to introduce you to your biggest enemy. See, someone once said, it's hard to win a fight if you don't even know you're in one. Well, if you want to lose weight, it can certainly feel like a fight at times, right? So the question is, what are you fighting against? I mean, is it a lack of willpower? Is it lack of support from your friends and family? Is it just confusion from all the different diets and the different weight loss programs out there? Or is it maybe that little negative voice that's in your head that haunts you and taunts you and just kind of drives you nuts? All of those things can certainly work against you, and they might be working against you, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. So what is the biggest enemy of losing weight and changing your body, learning to eat better, and finding lifelong success when it comes to weight loss? Well, in my 20 years of working with clients, what I'm going to share with you today, I've seen over and over again. It's rampant, I promise. And if you can overcome this one thing, suddenly weight loss becomes so much easier and even kind of fun. Now, I know that's big. That's like a big outlandish promise. Like weight loss can't be fun, can it? It really kind of can, so hang with me. So to explain this, to explain what it is, I want to start with a quick story. Recently, I was coaching a lady, we'll call her Julie, and she was doing fantastic. She was progressing, she'd lost weight, she was having more day-to-day energy, her clothes were fitting better. I mean, everything was going right, everything was going great. And I was pretty surprised when suddenly she started talking and she seemed really down. She was frustrated and disappointed. And what really blew my mind, she was about ready to quit. What? Like, what is going on here? And then she said, Corey, I just don't think I can do this. I'm never going to be a perfectly clean eater. I just can't keep this up. So what in the world is going on here, right? Like, Julie was making great progress. She had lost over 15 pounds and was feeling amazing. And don't misunderstand, like, we weren't doing anything crazy or extreme with her food or exercise. She was just taking small steps, just one little change after another. So here's the big question. Why was she so discouraged? And why was she ready to quit? Why was she about to sabotage this whole process? Actually, the answer is really pretty simple. The previous week, she had messed up a little bit. She didn't perfectly do the things we had laid out for her. Just one or two little mess ups, and she was ready to throw the whole thing out the window. Julie felt convicted. She felt bad. She thought she needed to be perfect, and she felt guilty anytime that she wasn't. It's like her brain was programmed that she was either all right, like it's all good, it's all there, it's all right, or it's totally wrong. There was no in between. See, there's a good chance you've been duped into the same kind of thinking. And when it comes to food, there's good and bad. There is right and wrong. And if you're not good and right, well, then you're bad and you're wrong. If you're not moving forward, making progress, then you're moving backward, undoing all you've done, ruining all the work that you put in. This type of thinking is what will drive you absolutely freaking nuts. And it will cause you to think that you can't do it, that you just don't have what it takes. But think about it. It kind of makes sense, right? I mean, if we really think through this process, because you may be kind of in your head right now going, well, I don't know if that's me or not. We're going to get to that in a minute. But if we think through this process, it almost kind of makes sense. We can almost rationalize it. I mean, for goodness sakes, when your standard is perfection, trying to live up to that will wear you out mentally. It will wear you out emotionally. And then when you do mess up, deep in the back of your brain, It's like confirmation of that little negative voice that you can't do it. So you might as well just give up now. All that pressure, it's just too much because the standard is perfection. Ladies and gentlemen, my new friends out there in podcast world, this is your biggest enemy when it comes to losing weight and truly changing your body and your life once and for all. Perfectionism, or as I like to call it, the all or nothing disease. So listen, look, if you never listen to another episode of this podcast or you can't stand the sound of my voice, I don't care. Please just listen to me right now. This is the number one thing you need to hear that you must know. This is the number one thing you must know if you want to lose weight. I want to make this as crystal clear as possible. Here it is. You don't have to be perfect to lose weight. You don't have to be perfect with your food. You don't have to be perfect with your exercise. You don't have to be perfectly consistent. You do not have to be perfect to lose weight and get results. Now, here's the crazy part. As you saw with Julie, and as you might have experienced yourself, striving for perfection is often the very thing, while it seems noble and it seems wonderful, like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm either doing it or I'm not. I'm all or I'm nothing. It seems like a great goal, and it seems all noble and wonderful, but it's often the very thing that will get in your way and cause you to quit. If you want to truly change your body, to lose weight and keep it off, this is the most important thing you can learn, I promise. It's the key to long-term success, and without it, you'll be stopping and restarting your diet or buying the coolest new weight loss program over and over again for the rest of your life. Look, it doesn't matter where you are in this weight loss journey. If you don't fully understand, wrestle with, because it's not going to come real easy. I'm just being honest here. If you don't fully understand this and wrestle with it and embrace this concept, you're going to fail. I mean, I hate saying that because it sounds so negative, and I really like to be positive, but it's just true because I've seen it again and again and again. So how do you know if this is an issue for you? Like, how do you know if perfectionism and the all or nothing disease is a problem? Well, let's jump into that right now. I'm going to give you talk through a few things, a few different mindsets and a few different scenarios. And if you kind of connect or identify with these, well, then it's definitely a problem for you. So first up, obviously, if you would call yourself a perfectionist, or if you would say, Corey, you're right. I'm just all or nothing. I mean, I do it or I don't. Like, I'm all in or I'm not doing it at all. Well, then, yes, this is obviously an issue for you. But there are others that are a little more on the down low, that kind of creep below the surface. So let's get into those. If you mess up a little on, say, a Wednesday or a Thursday with your diet, and you say, oh, God, well, I'll just start fresh on Monday. If there's a little negative voice in the back of your head that discourages you and reminds you how many times you've screwed up or how many times you've tried and failed in the past. If you feel like there are clearly defined, like we were talking about earlier, like good, quote unquote good, and quote unquote bad foods. And when you eat the good food, you're doing good. But you should never eat the bad foods. And when you do, then you feel bad. Even if it is like a cheat meal, when you eat those bad foods, you still feel bad. Which, by the way, I hate that term. Can't stand the term cheat meal. That's a whole nother episode for a whole nother day. Continuing here, if you feel like in order to lose weight, you've got to do it all. You got to tackle every little thing, breakfast, lunch, dinner, perfect snacks, and the perfect workout routine, all of that all at once. Otherwise, it just won't work, which, by the way, is a total lie. We'll save that for another future episode. If you beat yourself up whenever you mess up or you don't eat just so, when you don't eat the exact right thing you're supposed to, if you feel a lot of emotion and turmoil around losing weight and making the right food choices, if trying to lose weight just always makes you miserable and feels really heavy and discouraging, so if you connect with any of those things, then, my dear, you are falling victim to perfectionism and the all or nothing disease. And it's time to take a big steak knife and drive it right through the heart of that attitude and that mindset. So here's the question. How do we do that, right? I mean, it's hopefully at this point you can see, wow, yeah, this makes sense. I understand what this guy's saying. So how do we do it? Well, the bottom line, I'm just going to cut to the chase here. It's to constantly choose progression over perfection. Perfection sucks. It will ruin the whole process. Progression is wonderful, and it will get you where you want to be. Now, here's the thing. That sounds good and makes total sense, right? But like so many things on the internet or in a magazine, it's cute and it's catchy. But if we're honest, I mean, it doesn't help you one bit in real life, does it? Well, this is the Real Life Weight Loss Podcast. And so that's bull, and we're not going to stop there. I want to give you 3 specific ways that will help you to step away from perfectionism and intentionally choose progression. Okay, so 3 simple things here. You ready? Let's do it. Here we go. So step number 1, I want you to stop. Just stop what you're doing and wipe the slate clean. Like not right now. If you're driving a car, don't stop that. But when it comes to weight loss, stop and wipe the slate clean. If you're currently doing some diet or trying to lose weight and you're like, yeah, Corey, wow, oh my gosh, I'm totally suffering from the all or nothing disease, then just stop. I mean, seriously, look, I'm the nutrition and weight loss expert, and I'm telling you to stop. Stop. I know it sounds totally crazy and like exactly what you shouldn't do, but I also know how the story plays out because I've seen it again and again and again. You'll hang in there until you're sick of the mental and emotional turmoil, until you're just so tired of beating yourself up because you're so disappointed that you haven't done this quote unquote right. You haven't done this perfectly, and then you'll quit. So why not just stop now and kind of reset things a little bit and then start with a different approach? I mean, think about it. I mean, let's just go through this logically. Perfection is not even possible. Like I'm Mr. Nutrition Expert guy, right? I've been a bodybuilder. I've had 3% body fat, all that good stuff. And I don't eat perfectly clean, and neither does my wife, neither do my clients, and neither will you. Perfection is like being in prison. It's a place where I don't want to be. It's a place where you can never mess up. You have no social life, and you lose sight of the big picture. And the big picture is life. Enjoying all parts of life, friends and family and work and play, healthy, clean food, and decadent, indulgent food, and a body that is healthy and full of energy and that you actually like. See, I believe losing weight is actually about gaining life. And sadly, so many people lose sight of that when they're trying to lose weight. They'll sacrifice whatever it takes. They'll sacrifice important parts of their life just to drop a few pounds. I mean, what is the point of that? The whole point of weight loss is to have a body and life that we enjoy more, right? To totally like cut out and eliminate certain foods or food groups or constantly deny yourself on special occasions, it's like unplugging from life. It's not necessary, and it's not mentally or emotionally healthy. It will not get you where you want to be with your body. So step number 1, for goodness sakes, just stop. Stop and wipe the slate clean. Any and all past failures or screw-ups or mess-ups are gone. Poof! Like, okay, just let them go. They don't matter anymore. Now, take a deep breath and just breathe in that freedom. Enjoy that freedom. It feels pretty good, doesn't it? Next up, step 2. I want you to hear your head and begin to change how you think. Now, I know, I get it. This may sound a little weird, but just hang with me, okay? See, you probably think that like for you, like up in your head, there's only you there, right? It's you and only you living up in your head. And that all the thoughts that fly through your mind, that pass through your brain over the course of a day, that they are all created by you and intentionally thought by you. I'm sorry, but that's just not true. All of your thoughts actually aren't your thoughts. And you know it. Think about it. We've all had thoughts that we don't like or we don't want. Something pops up in our head randomly and we're like, oh, what? Like, where in the world did that come from? sometimes, if we're honest, there's another voice in our head. I like to call it the bully in our brain, because that's exactly what that little voice is like. It's like a mean old bully, and nobody likes a bully. So it's your job to stand up to this bully, to run him off the playground, run him out of the playground of your mind. You can be the hero in this situation. Now, we'll get into this more in depth in a future episode, but for now, here's exactly what I want you to do. Number one, I want you to pay attention. You just got to pay attention. As I like to say, and I said earlier, hear your head. Don't just let random thoughts fly through there. Instead, pay attention. Take note of the things that are popping up. And whenever your brain heads to the perfectionist, I'm either going to do this or not do this mindset, speak up. Tell yourself, nope, that's not what really works when it comes to weight loss. Just because I messed up a little in the past doesn't mean that everything is bad. It doesn't mean that all is lost. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. It doesn't mean that I can't do this. I can do this. Because, ladies and gentlemen, here's the truth. You can do this. You can lose weight and change your body. And here's the best part. You don't have to be perfect to make that happen. But you've got to believe it first. You've got to start believing this truth that I'm teaching you today, that perfection is a myth, that perfection is actually the enemy, and that you do not have to be perfect to change your body and change your life. I'm going to beat it into your head. Say it with me. I do not have to be perfect to lose weight, to change my body and change my life. So when you speak up against that all or nothing mindset, you can say it out loud or just kind of silently in your head, but when you do it with a little oomph, like do it with a little emotion. Do it like you mean it. Literally think of it like you're seeing a small child who's getting bullied on the playground and you're rushing in to save the day. Heck yeah. Okay? Like get fired up about it. Do that consistently, and it will change how you think about losing weight, and it'll pave the way for some really fun progress. There's that word again, right? Progress. We want progression over perfection. So speaking of progress, step number 3, our final step here, pick one simple next step as your first progression. Maybe it's drinking more water or cutting out sodas or changing your breakfast or reducing snacks or sweets or whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care what it is. It just needs to be, it's got to meet these qualifications, okay? It needs to be small, simple, specific, doable, and measurable. So in other words, like your simple next step shouldn't be, I'm going to eat healthier this week. That's terrible. Or I'm going to make better choices, better food choices. No, not good. We need specificity. For example, I'm going to drink 2 liters of water every day. Boom, perfect. That's excellent. Or I'm going to eat vegetables with lunch every day. Yes, beautiful. Or I'm going to walk for 30 minutes 2 times this week or 3 times this week. Small, simple, specific, doable, and measurable. Then, once you get it, knock it out of the park. Just focus on that one thing and let everything else go. That is how you make progression. That's how you plan for progression and then actually make progression. And that, my friends, is how you will, over time, truly change your body and change your life. I promise. So that's my hope and my message for you in this very first episode of the Real Life Weight Loss Podcast. If you never listen to another episode, I hope this hits home for you and you take it to heart. You don't need to or have to be perfect. You just need to make progress. Perfection is impossible, but progression is well within anyone's grasp. And progression is a powerful thing. Small steps really do add up over the course of time. One little bit at a time, you can do amazing things with your body and your brain and your life. So, please, for the sake of your sanity and your success, toss perfection out the freaking window and remember, step number 1, just stop and wipe the slate clean. Forgive yourself. Stop beating yourself up. It doesn't matter how many times you screwed up. It doesn't matter how many times you tried and failed. It's done. Boop, gone. Step number 2, hear your head and speak up against the bully in your brain. Speak up against the all or nothing mindset. Step number 3, pick one small, simple, specific, doable, measurable thing that you can focus on for the next week. And I promise that will lead to more peace of mind, more consistency, and more results. It is my sincere hope and prayer that you'll implement what I've taught, that you think and fight and struggle and believe in yourself and in the power of simple progression until it's just kind of who you are and what you do. Because I know if you do that, the whole weight loss thing can actually start to become fun. Okay. Woo! That's it. That's a wrap on the very first episode of the Real Life Weight Loss Podcast. I cannot thank you enough for your time today. It means a ton to me. I value your trust. I value your time, and I promise to always try to bring something incredibly valuable to you. So before signing off, can I ask just a really quick favor? If you enjoyed this message and it inspired you in some way, I would be absolutely honored if you would do 2 things. Number 1, just click the subscribe button. Subscribe, because we got some really amazing stuff coming, as you heard throughout the podcast here. And then number 2, share this. Just share it with someone. If you know someone who's suffering from weight loss perfectionism and the all or nothing disease, share this episode with them on social media. And then if you tag me, I'll hop in and say hello. I'd be honored. Tag me and so I can jump in there and say hello to you and your friends. So that is it. I cannot wait to connect with you again. And in the meantime, remember, there is so much more to your body than how much you weigh. And losing weight is really about gaining life. Until next time, you are awesome. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.